2,000 years ago, 6,000 Roman soldiers vanished into the desert never to return. Were they lost to the sands of time, or did they build a secret empire hidden deep within the Sahara? This is the untold story of the legion Rome forgot, but history cannot ignore. If you love uncovering the mysteries that history tried to bury, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and share this video with fellow history seekers. Your support keeps us digging deeper into the past to reveal stories the world has long forgotten. In the summer of 53 BC, under the scorching Mesopotamian sun, the Roman Republic sent one of its wealthiest men, Marcus Licinius Crassus, to war. Crassus was a triumvir, a political titan alongside Pompey and Julius Caesar, yet his ambition was insatiable. He yearned for a victory that would rival Caesar's conquest of Gaul and Pompey's triumphs in the East. That desire for eternal glory drove him eastward against the Parthian Empire, Rome's greatest rival in the sands of Mesopotamia. With him marched nearly 40,000 Roman soldiers, among them a legion of 6,000 hardened men whose destiny would soon break away from the annals of conventional history. At the disastrous Battle of Carrhae, Crassus's army was annihilated by Parthia's horse archers and cataphracts. The desert battlefield became a graveyard of Roman pride, and Crassus himself perished, his head taken as a trophy by the Parthians. But amid the chaos, not all was destroyed. A single legion, battered yet unbroken, was captured, transported, and if we trust whispers of ancient sources dispersed far from the Roman frontiers. Their story after Carrhae is clouded in mystery. Official Roman records fall silent, and historians for centuries assumed they were enslaved or slaughtered. Yet fragments of accounts and archaeological curiosities suggest otherwise. They were not lost to time entirely. Instead, they may have endured, becoming the seed of something stranger, something forgotten, a civilization hidden deep within the sands, far from Rome's watchful eye. What if this lost legion did not simply die in the east, but wandered further still? What if they forged a new world in the burning heart of the Sahara Desert, thousands of miles from Rome? The idea of the lost legion surviving begins with a cryptic mention by the historian Pliny the Elder. He speaks of a group of foreign soldiers fighting in Central Asia under Parthian rule, a disciplined force wielding tactics unfamiliar to the region. Other sources tell of mercenaries fighting in strange formations, shield to shield, their discipline too Roman to ignore. These whispers form the earliest breadcrumbs of the legion's long journey. Imagine them, men hardened by years of discipline under the Eagle standard, now stripped of their homeland, sold into service as mercenaries on foreign frontiers. For a time, perhaps they guarded distant Parthian outposts. Perhaps they fought in the steppes of Central Asia, defending against nomadic raiders. But fate, as history often shows, is rarely content with simple endings. Wars shift, empires crumble, and soldiers drift like dust on the wind. Some scholars theorize that, decades later, fragments of this legion now scattered, forgotten by Rome and Parthia alike may have begun a desperate migration. Desert winds carried them westward. Drawn by whispers of fertile oases beyond the shifting dunes, they may have marched across Persia, then North Africa, before entering the great expanse of the Sahara itself. What began as survival could have become a quest for rebirth, to escape slavery, to forge a place where their children might grow free from Rome's politics and Parthia's chains. Here, the historical record falls silent. But silence is not absence. Silence is fertile ground for legend. For centuries, explorers of the Sahara have encountered fragments of mystery ruins without known builders, forgotten fortresses rising from dunes, and tales among desert tribes of pale-skinned warriors who came from the east. Oral traditions speak of a disciplined people, wielding metal weapons, who appeared generations ago and mingled with the locals. Some Bedouin accounts tell of warriors who fought not like nomads but in tight ranks, their shields locked, their spears thrust in rhythm. These echoes resonate uncannily with Rome's lost legion. Picture it now, 6,000 men trudging across endless dunes, their sandals sinking into hot sand, their armor reflecting a sun harsher than anything they had known in Italy. Exhaustion would have thinned their ranks, but still they marched, drawn by the hope of water, of sanctuary, of a future. At scattered oases, they may have struck bargains with local tribes, offering protection in exchange for food and shelter. Their Roman discipline gave them power to carve out strongholds where nomadic raiders dared not attack. Over time, these encampments grew into fortified settlements. The legion was no longer merely Roman. They were outcasts, survivors, wanderers. As years turned into decades, their language may have blended with local tongues, their gods mixed with desert spirits, their standards replaced by symbols drawn from sand and sun. Children born under the burning sky would not remember Italy, but they would inherit the discipline of their fathers. Their shields and swords, once tools of conquest, became relics of identity passed down through generations as sacred emblems of ancestry. Thus, the legion was reborn not as subjects of Rome, but as founders of a hidden civilization. In the heart of the Sahara, there are ruins that defy easy explanation. Crumbling stone walls, set in patterns too deliberate for nomads, rise from the desert floor. Some archaeologists suggest they were Roman outposts, though far from the empire's known borders. Others argue they are remnants of forgotten Berber kingdoms. Yet the possibility lingers. Could they be the work of Crassus's lost legion, transformed across centuries into desert kings? The desert itself guards its secrets jealously. Sand is both destroyer and preserver. It erases roads, buries cities, swallows armies. Yet beneath its shifting surface lie untouched tombs, sealed amphorae, fragments of mosaic floors that hint at cultural fusion. A shard of pottery here, a coin stamped with Latin script there, these tantalize the imagination. None prove the legion's survival outright, yet together they form a trail of faint footprints leading deeper into mystery. Legends persist among the Tuareg and other Saharan tribes of a white tribe that once ruled oases, a people of foreign blood who taught masonry, irrigation, and unfamiliar tactics of war. In some accounts, these strangers were later absorbed through intermarriage, their uniqueness diluted but never forgotten. The desert remembers in whispers, not in monuments. What truly becomes of a people forgotten by history but remembered in myth? Perhaps the legion's bloodline flows quietly in the veins of tribes wandering the Sahara today, their Roman ancestry buried beneath layers of African heritage. Perhaps their walls still stand, hidden in valleys no satellite has yet revealed. Perhaps their standards, now tattered and unrecognizable, lie beneath the sand, waiting for a storm to uncover them. The story of the Lost Legion is not merely about soldiers wandering into oblivion. It is about transformation. Rome believed in empire eternal, but empires crumble. Armies are broken. What endures is not conquest, but adaptation. These men, if indeed they survived, became something Rome itself could not imagine, a people unmoored from empire, creating their own destiny. Consider the psychological journey of these men. Once, they marched for the Senate and people of Rome, dreaming of spoils and triumph. But after Carrhae, after slavery, after endless marches, their loyalty to Rome must have withered. Their new oath was survival. Their allegiance shifted from distant senators to the children who followed them through the sands. They may have ceased to call themselves Romans, yet their legacy, the discipline, the order, the will to endure remained Roman at its core. And so their civilization, if it existed, was both Roman and not Roman. A ghost empire, born in exile. Echoes of this story reverberate into the present. Modern explorers and historians, scanning the Sahara with drones and satellites, sometimes find geometric patterns beneath the dunes' outlines of walls, canals, or roads that seem too precise for natural formations. Could these be remnants of the legion's lost settlements? Or are they remnants of other forgotten cultures, swallowed by the desert's hunger? Until proof emerges, the lost legion will remain in the twilight between history and myth. Yet perhaps that is fitting. Legends have power precisely because they are unresolved. They invite us to imagine, to seek, to wonder what lies beyond the horizon of certainty. The Sahara itself is a metaphor for this mystery, vast, harsh, unyielding, but hiding treasures beneath its surface. Just as caravans vanish and reappear, so too may the truth of the legion lie buried, waiting for rediscovery. The tale ends where it began, with men marching into the desert, their fates unknown. 6,000 Roman soldiers left behind the ashes of Carrhae and vanished into history. Did they die in chains, forgotten by all? Or did they live on, carving out a hidden kingdom in the sands of Africa? Perhaps one day, beneath a collapsed dune or within the ruins of a forgotten fortress, archaeologists will find an eagle standard, corroded but unmistakably Roman, buried in Saharan sands. That single discovery would confirm what legend has whispered for centuries, that the legion was never lost, only transformed. Until then, the echoes of their silent empire remain, resonating through time like a mirage on the horizon. They are the shadows of men who refuse to be erased. They are the ghosts of Rome, reborn in the desert. And they remind us that history is not only written in marble halls.